So welcome back to the results for the contest, for contest 2.0, so to speak, on this channel. I'm sorry more of you didn't participate. I understand that a lot of you don't actually buy prefabs whenever they come out, or try not to, and then whenever you get them, not a lot of you have a real use for them. By the way, I don't know if I've shown you guys this or not. This is the oldest build on this character. Let's see. Well, hold on. Can I turn off? Okay. There we go. Depth of field off. That'll help it a lot. And badoosh. So this is the oldest build on this character. It is also one of my oldest builds that I've kept around for like ever. And you'll understand why when you see it. This is my boat. It is floating in the Ohio River. Its camp module was set down on top of the little rowboat that's out here, right by this bottle. I'll show you where it is in just a second. But it is my oldest build. And the reason why it is going to probably stay my oldest build pretty much forever is because, well, getting a build to set just above the waterline is really a painful thing to do. And by that I mean, you see the way the waves are going across the water here? This boat, whenever it rains, you don't get the rain texture on the interior of it because I've managed to get it just at the right height to where it is floating just off the top of the water. Not like literally floating, but like literally just the right pixel height. Because if you see here, the build is actually in the water. You can actually see how tight it is. See what I mean? So it's just high enough that it does exactly what a boat should do. And under here is what's actually holding the whole place up. So this is technically a floating build in more than one way. It's built off this foundation. You have the... It took me about 40 minutes and 6 tries to get this thing to actually sit like this. And then I will not even tell you how long it took to get the garage door to go in. Because in all honesty, I did it 2 years ago pretty much. But this is where the camp module sits, right there. I have a gun here because things do spawn down here by the camp module. So they'll spawn in this area here or at it in particular. And then they will come through here and do their crazy stuff, and then there's another one over here. Looks like my friend Grave is playing Helldivers too. He's really addicted to that game. No matter what he says, he's totally addicted to it. But this is my first attempt at a boat. And as you can tell, it is not, you know, horrible. It's decorated out pretty well. The stuff in general, you know, doesn't look bad. But because it is my first attempt, I didn't take a lot of the cues that are currently in use when building. So everything is built from a very standard building procedural way. And the one of the few things that you can't do anymore are these like handrails. They just will not snap the way they used to, like for this. So that's one of the reasons why it will probably stay here forever. But that is my favorite build. And the cool thing about it is that cannon there on the front will reach, let me just show you on the map, all the way up to here. That's the range of my cannon. I can hit there, I can hit here without an issue, I can even hit up here without too much of an issue. So, it's kind of cool. But the reason why I'm showing you this is there's a lot of people that are now currently new to the game that are interested in building in water. And a gent by the name of what's his name? Cowboy. Moonlight Cowboy, he plays on PlayStation, has just put out a tutorial that tells you about how to build in water, and he's covered everything pretty well. Mostly. And the reason why I say mostly is there's certain things that he does that I personally would never do, and he forgot an item that can be used underwater. And that is under the... Let me see if I can get my character inside the build area. And I will show you it real quick. Floor decor item that everybody knows about and everybody references all the time in this game, because the gentleman that did the or I guess gentleman, I don't know if it's a gentleman or not. I don't know what I'd call him, to be honest. Psychopath, maybe? Yeah, psychopath works better. Anyway, the oh, and Cowboy put out 2 videos, so I should also cover that. He put out a video on building stuff in water, which he covered using the foundation like here, using the where is it? The Nuka World sign that you can build on. Do I honestly not have it? Oh, there it is. He didn't cover the fact that flamingos will fit underwater and can support items and have a very low cost. Nor did he, and he covered the tree stumps, which are great, by the way. You can fit like 2 or 3 items on them without an issue. And he covered the Nuka World sign, which you can put underwater, and you can actually... So here's the tree stump, by the way. And he covered the Nuka World on Tour sign, which I don't honestly know if I have on this character, because I haven't done a lot of Nuka World stuff with her, because in all honesty, I was trying to finish out one character's... Nope, there it is. So this sign here can be placed underwater. And also the foundation, which I already showed you. And then this right here, of course, can be placed underwater. So, these are the 4 items that place underwater besides foundations. You can float things off of them to make, you know, boats and things like that fly. And you can also, you know, well, just use them for anchor points. If I'm going to build underwater, I'm going to use probably these stumps, these things here, or foundations. I hardly ever use these because of the materials that it takes to make them. It's just a waste of materials, to be honest. And I only use them, this in particular, if I'm doing something with a chair and I'm trying to make sure that it sits properly, meaning that you can still get in and out of it, because this doesn't interfere with chairs too much. While the flamingo is kind of weird. Whenever you put a chair on its back, it kind of acts kind of wonky sometimes. I don't know why, it just seems to work that way for me personally. But just letting you know. And then this thing is great if you want, you know how you've seen people hang displays, and there's that one display in the build menu that's out of the atomic shop that people like to place. Where is it? And that's the other thing. I wish they would give us either a favorites category or something similar. Not those. I think it's in this category. This thing right here, right? So you put this on the sign, and then you float it up, and you can make it look like you have an eagle flying over the water. And if you do it properly, you can also take like one of the fish from the fish set that's a wall mountable item, put it in the eagle's claws pretty much, and then float them both up at the same height, and then it looks like the eagle's been fishing, which is kind of cool. I've seen a couple people do that. It's a neat effect. But anyway, so this is the oldest boat that I have. It is not the only boat that I have, but it is the oldest boat that I have. And as I said, this is a Contest 2.0 update video, meaning that I'm going to review Solitaire's camp. Because Solitaire did something fun for a change. She showed me something that I haven't got to see on my own in a while. And what did she show me? Well, I will go through that with you in just a moment. But Anyway, now I'm going to switch over to Solitaire's video. So let's start off with, this is Solitaire's Wasteland Games entry into Contest 2.0, which was essentially to use a couple prefabs, set up some vendors, decorate however you like, you can add whatever you want, and keep track of how many caps you have till the end of the month. Well, actually, technically it's 2 months that I gave people to build this. Or right around there. It might be a day under or maybe a day over. I'm not exactly 100% on time. If you've noticed in any of my other videos where I talk about calendars and things like that, my old calendar was from 2022 and I just put up the 2024 recently, so yeah, I might be a little behind the times when it comes to certain things. And yes, I actually keep calendars beside of my desk because well, whenever you pull a page off you can always use it for notes, and I make a lot of notes. Don't know about you guys, but this is Solitaire's camp. It is, as she showed on the map, this is where you're going to show up at, as she likes to put it. And she did something here that I had not seen before, and that is, if you look right there, you can see it. See the post sticking out of the bottom of her porches, because those are the glass porch kit that came into the shop from well, rather recently, but if you see there, those are the actual dock pieces that we got in the shop as well. Now the cool thing about this is she posted this video, and then I spent a lot of time trying to figure out how exactly she did this, because, well, I'm me and it's what I do, and I'm often, and as I'm looking at this thing as she's walking through, I'm thinking to myself, you know, it's cool that you use the barricades, but why didn't you just use the handrails that came along with this thing? Because there are handrails that came along with this porch set, and they're actually glass. You can see through them. They don't detract from the actual camp. And if she did it properly, well, you could technically float them in different locations just by placing down the porch, then removing the sections and putting it back and leaving the handrails floating there. And then snap something else into that area. So, I mean, I get it. It's a design choice. She makes her choices based on what she likes, and she puts out stuff that she likes, like the garden over here that she has. I mean, it's Solitaire. You gotta expect that. I honestly love the fact that she is crazy enough to be supportive in the crazy stuff that I throw out there for people to try and do in this game, because I like the fact that, like, she does things like this garden. And my only complaint is use the dirt tiles, because the wooden tiles just look weird, but they also look cool, so I get it. It's kind of, you know, one or the other thing, but it actually works really well, and she's really good at floating things, like the lanterns there, with the statues, to make her own custom, you know, lanterns. And she's really good at merging things, like to get the plants down into these floor tiles. And then on top of that, she went out of the way and she used two very distinct and different prefabs here. Because you got the train car and you got the CD shed. And she has set it up to where you can access both, and they both serve a purpose. And the CD shed, it's mainly like, you know, the junk workroom area, which, you know, that's what you need to have one of those anyway. And it's a small building, so you can actually fit pretty much everything you want in here. If you really want to know how much you can fit into a CD shed, I recommend checking out Jack O'Mara's channel. He had a build where the only thing he used was the CD shed, and everything is stuck inside of it so tight. Well, let's put it this way: if you fart, you pretty much set the place on fire. It's pretty bad. Bad in a good way, good in a bad. You know what I mean. It's a great build. It's awesome. It's one of his best things. It's probably what got his name known to most people, and it is definitely one of the first builds that he was so happy to show me. And I know that he misses it if he's taken it down. but I'm not 100% sure he has, because he tends to keep the ones that he really likes. Kind of like all of us, which is why... Oh man, that's the only thing that I hate about putting a cooking implement up like that. Is whenever people come over and they see you sitting on the edge there, and it's the one thing that she hates too. So you can tell, you know, she's just not happy with the fact that dude was sitting up there cooking, and he even left the lid off the damn pot. Can you believe that? But you know, it's what you get for Brotherhood of Steel guys living in your camp. They leave the lids off the pots. They don't close up anything. They rarely clean. Man, Brotherhood of Steel guys. No, seriously though, there are some really odd situations that happens in this camp. She goes through and she shows you, you know, the bedroom, the bathroom, you know, everything that she's built. I do think it's kind of funny that she put the bathroom back here in the back and put up these little, you know, dividers. It's not that it's a bad thing, it's just it's kind of entertaining to see how people deal with, you know, rooms that they can't put extra walls in a normal sense. And most people don't think to float walls into locations, but it's an awesome build. I mean, she's decorated well, everything fits together, she's used the hedges, she's built her shop, she's thrown a little bit of everything in here. The other thing that Solitaire does that I absolutely love, and I'll show you in a minute, is the fact that she acknowledges that time passes in her videos. And she does that in a very classical sort of way. But, yeah, this is her shop. She's got it all decorated out, Nuka-Cola themed stuff. But the main idea was to show exactly how much crap you can move through your inventory in a month. Because the problem that we've got as players in this game, even those that are Fallout First members, we hoard. We hoard stuff that we're either never going to use, or we hoard stuff because, well, it's too good to get rid of and somebody might want it. And yes, it's true, somebody might want that piece of 1-star unyielding armor that you have, but in all honesty, most people aren't going to. It's a fill piece for most people until they can find something better. But as you can tell, nice build, very clean, very well done. I like this thing right here that she's done with the water coolers into the bar. And yeah, I mean, it's a very well executed, nice, clean-ish build. And I say ish because the area that she's in is, you know, the ash heap. And I built at this location, so I know that building here is one of those things where it's kind of all or nothing. If you can get something to go, that's great. If you can't, I understand. But she has a bunch of stuff in her vendor that she moves. And I'm going to go ahead and skip along here to her aerial view, and you can see the camp, the billboard, all the bottles. She shows time passing by having different segments of the camp filmed. People coming by, buying some stuff, and she's got it set up to where she looks like a security. I just love the idea of this. And then she's also got this segment right here, which shows the camp being destroyed by somebody who's new, placing a nuke and not knowing what they're doing. So she comes back in as the month goes on and fixes up her camp. And she shows more time passing. And shows you how it looks now. Talks about some of the changes she made, walks you through it, and I mean, this area back here, like, it's nice, it's cool. comes around here, sits down, discusses how many caps she's made, the alterations she made, the fact that she picked up the Mirelurk as a camp follower, the fact that she went through about a little less than 5,000 caps of goods were traded and transferred. So she was under the 5,000 cap mark, but she actually did a really good job. And she's done a lot of really cool builds in the past, and I hope she continues to participate in the stupid shit that I come up with, because she has came up with some really cool stuff. But, yeah. It's a nice build. Very clean. That's why Solitaire's the winner. She's the only one that participated.